Let's get straight to the point. Ferrari is bleeding points. After losing the Constructors' Championship by just 14 points in 2024, the team kicked off 2025 in disastrous fashion. 3 races in, and they're already 76 points behind McLaren. This isn't just a bad start, it's an embarrassment for a team with Ferrari's historical weight. And while the spotlight shines on lap times, performance charts, and social media memes, something much deeper is happening behind the garage doors in Maranello. The crisis isn't just in the numbers, it's in the decisions, in the backstage. And maybe what few are noticing is that, amid this technical and institutional chaos, Lewis Hamilton is emerging as a far greater figure than expected. Yes, the 7-time world champion who arrived surrounded by high expectations but was criticized for a low-key start, no podiums, and a best finish of 7th in the first 3 races. For many, a disappointing beginning, but those only looking at the results haven't grasped what's truly at stake. Ferrari is on the verge of its first major transformation in 2025. And who stands at the center of this revolution? Hamilton. This Friday in free practice for the Bahrain GP, the Brit will be the first to test the new SF25 floor, part of a full technical package including upgrades to the cooling system, diffuser geometry, and various aerodynamic adjustments. The twist: Leclerc won't take part in this first evaluation. His car will be handed to junior driver Dino Beganovic, who will run with the old spec, allowing a direct comparison between the 2 versions. Coincidence? Not at all. Ferrari is making a clear decision, trusting Hamilton to determine the technical future of the car. And that raises a burning question. If the team truly believes in a turnaround, why put the wheel in the hands of someone supposedly still adapting? What few knew, until now, is that Hamilton and Leclerc's cars weren't exactly the same. And we're not talking about personal setup preferences. We're talking about a technically inferior component that was present only in Hamilton's car during the first 3 races of the season. It was Lewis himself who raised the red flag. There was a performance deficit between both sides of the garage. Quiet, direct, and restrained, as is his style, the Brit simply said, "There was a small deficit. Look, something on my side was performing below expectations." His words may seem subtle, but in F1, that kind of remark carries the weight of an accusation, especially coming from a 7-time world champion who knows every inch of a racing car. Hamilton didn't openly expose the problem, because he understands the internal politics tied to every word spoken inside a team like Ferrari, but the message was clear. He feels he's been racing at a disadvantage since the season started. The tension grew even more at the Japanese GP, when for the first time, Ferrari allowed Hamilton and Leclerc to run different setups on their cars. A break from the team's usual approach, which had both drivers following the same setup philosophy. And the result? Hamilton was the only one to stick with a distinct configuration, even amid inconsistent outcomes. Leclerc, on the other hand, chose to stick with the setup from the first 2 races, the one that, in theory, has offered him better balance. But balance isn't everything. Ferrari knows it needs to take risks to close the gap to McLaren and Red Bull, and taking risks requires courage and trust. That's why, even at a time when Hamilton hasn't yet delivered strong results, the team has chosen to make him the lead figure in testing the new technical package. While Leclerc watches from the pit wall, it's Hamilton who'll take the first laps with the new floor, new wings, and new adjustments. And more than that, it's his feedback that will determine whether this update moves forward or not. This choice isn't just technical, it's symbolic. And it could mark a shift in Ferrari's internal narrative, from Leclerc as the homegrown leader to Hamilton as the commander of the comeback. Inside Ferrari, no one is saying it out loud, but the message is clear. Lewis Hamilton is taking on the role of technical leader within the team. And that stings. After all, Charles Leclerc has been in Maranello since 2019. He knows every engineer, every protocol, every nuance of the Ferrari system. He is, or at least was, the face of the Scuderia's new generation. And suddenly, after just 3 races, it's Hamilton who has the final word on the new car. It's not hard to imagine the discomfort, and it's not just about ego, it's about influence. In Formula 1, the driver who leads technical development ends up shaping the car in their image. Just think of Schumacher, Alonso, Vettel. And now, Hamilton seems to be following the same path. Only this time, Leclerc is still there, trying to reaffirm his identity while watching the Brit become the team's unofficial technical consultant. Ferrari knows this. and strategically, they try to maintain the message of balance. We treat both drivers equally, but in the real world of F1, equality doesn't last long when results start to weigh in. And even though Hamilton hasn't racked up podiums yet, he's already delivered the team's only win of 2025. In the sprint at the Chinese GP, even with a car that was too high, even with worn out protective blocks, even with everything going against him, he won. And in Formula 1, that's worth more than 1,000 simulations. Meanwhile, Leclerc seems to be following his own path, according to internal rumors. He no longer wants to copy Hamilton's setups. He wants a car shaped to his style, and he has that right. But the question forming inside the red garage is, who's truly willing to carry Ferrari on their shoulders when the pressure mounts? To the general public, Friday's free practice in Bahrain may seem like just another routine session, but for those who understand the game behind the game, this Friday is much more than telemetry data. It's the moment when Ferrari decides which direction it will take in 2025. And once again, Hamilton is at the center of it all. The new floor, set to debut on Hamilton's car, this is not just an evolution of the SF25. It is, in the words of internal sources, a kind of silent reconstruction. New aerodynamic solutions, revisions to the cooling system, multiple versions of the rear wing, and a meticulous effort to rebalance weight. A technical package that wouldn't be handed to just anyone to debut, and the decision to put Hamilton at the forefront of this process shows that Ferrari, even silently, is placing rare trust in the Briton. At the same time, Leclerc's absence at such a crucial moment is deafening. By handing his car over to junior driver Dino Beganovic, even if only for FP1, the team is sending a mixed message. On one hand, it shows a commitment to data collection via direct comparison. On the other, it removes Leclerc from the equation at a decisive time. And in Formula 1, decisive moments build narratives and legacies. If the new floor works, if Hamilton reports genuine performance gains, if the data confirms what the Italian engineers hope for, this could be the breakthrough Ferrari so desperately needs, not just to save the championship, but to cement Hamilton as the new center of gravity within the team, the man who didn't come just to race. He came to change everything, and if it goes wrong, well, then Ferrari will be facing a double problem: an unstable car and rising tension between its two biggest assets. All of this leads us to a point that no one else seems to be addressing. Ferrari is facing a choice, and it's not just about setup, diffusers, or who's leading the championship. It's a choice of philosophy. A choice between sticking with Leclerc, the homegrown driver, or embracing the vision of someone who's already turned two teams into winning machines. Hamilton isn't here just to make up the numbers. He's shaping, step by step, the car that could lift Ferrari out of nearly 2 decades of frustration. He's using his experience, his razor-sharp track reading, and his clinical calm to highlight where the project fails and how to fix it. That, even before winning races, is what defines a true champion. And that's why, despite the internal noise, external pressure, and constant comparisons with Leclerc, Ferrari is handing him the steering wheel of evolution. But the question remains, will it be enough? Will this new specification really close the gap to McLaren and Red Bull? Will Hamilton manage to cement his role as the team's technical and emotional leader? Or will Leclerc fight back and reclaim the spotlight that was once his? Bahrain won't deliver all the answers, but it could very well be the moment the story began to shift. Now, we want to hear from you. Can this new floor truly save Ferrari's season? Is Hamilton becoming the true leader of the Scuderia, or is that still up for debate? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because the conversation doesn't end with the video. It continues with you. And if you enjoyed this raw, no-filter analysis in the style only true F1 fans understand, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. This is F1 Prime News, where strategy matters as much as speed, and every detail tells a story.